This is Radio TV Phono Nut. Just had a couple of boxes dropped off by FedRex. And I don't know what kind of condition the contents are in. We're going to find out together. These should be the last two things coming in for a while. Because like I said, I'm going to give this a rest given the disasters that have happened here lately. But before we use the box opening instrument right here to get into these things, I'll address a few comments that were made in the previous videos. Some people ask me, why do you bother buying stuff online? Just quit buying stuff online. Well, I get what you're saying, but not everybody lives in an area where you can go to a flea market or an estate sale or a yard sale on any given Saturday and come home with a carload of stuff. In my area, it's getting so it's next to impossible to find stuff, and most of the good stuff I would not have had it not been for online purchases. So it does have its advantages to get stuff online. Around here, about all I see for sale is overpriced, beat-up particle board console stereos from the 70s, or some old radio that looks like it's been to heck and back that they think's worth a mega fortune because it's old. But you know, let me have something for sale that's actually decent, and they think it ought to be $5 or $10. So you know, that's just the way that goes. And another comment made was, just don't buy from Goodwill, they're crooks anyway. Well, I have my own feelings about their policies. And yeah, you know, I'm very skeptical about all of these so-called charity organizations, not just Goodwill, all of them. I remember whenever I was a teenager, some family members were involved in a local thrift store that was connected to their church. So I got roped into fixing all of the TVs that came in, and the brakes got put on that when they started acting like that I wasn't moving fast enough for them and all that. And I told my brother-in-law that, you know, when you're getting this done for free, or at most the cost of the parts, you're not in any position to be hounding my butt about I'm taking too long to fix your televisions. So, and then I found out that not all of the money was going to where it should be going for. More of it was going to help the preacher who ran the establishment live than anything else, so I just pretty much wrote them off. But pretty much my deal with thrift stores, I just take it like any other business. If they got something I want and the price is right, I'll get it. As far as poor packing, I've gotten stuff from eBay and Goodwill that was packed poorly, and I've gotten stuff from eBay and Goodwill that was packed relatively well. So with that said, let's open these boxes and see what's inside and see how well they're packed. We'll just start with the top box and work our way down. Alright, opening up the top box, I see lots of packing paper wound up in here, and this feels like the Rek-O-Kut turntable. So we'll get all this out. And it looks like they saran wrapped it to a piece of foam here. And in the bottom of the box we got some bubble wrap, more paper. Although I would have probably packed it better, this was still packed better than a lot of what I get. And something that's all metal, it would be a little bit harder for FedRex to break. And here's our Rek-O-Kut turntable. Center is neutral, 78 and 33. Now I'm told you can get a 45 idler to put on the 33 spot, but I'm probably not going to worry about that. But yeah, it's in neutral and it spins real well. Throw it in gear and the idler wheel engages and stops it, so that's good. Here's the platter, nice and heavy duty. This is pretty much broadcast grade. And here's the mechanism. You can see how it works. Really nice. This shouldn't be too hard to clean up and refurbish. And just a word of caution about turntables like this, whether they be broadcast turntables or whatever, before you turn one of these upside down, many of these have a ball bearing down in the spindle well there, so be careful. You don't want to lose that ball bearing. And here's the underside. It uses a General Industries 4-pole motor. Looks like a 1948 date on it. The wires going into the motor are frayed and need to be redone, but we can do that. We can fix that. And this should be a pretty easy restoration project. And here's the tone arm we're going to pair with this. A Gray Research 106 SP fitted with a General Electric variable reluctance magnetic cartridge. This turntable is going to be set up for playing 78s and 16-inch transcription records. Ideally, I'd like an old 16-inch platter-equipped broadcast turntable, but I've about given up on that because I'm just not going to pay 4 figures for one. That's just not going to happen. Okay, let's move this to the side and check out box number 2. This was the box from eBay. Okay, here's the Goodwill box, and by the way, they refunded me in full on that busted to heck and back French radio, so I was happy about that. For some reason, Goodwill loves this kind of stuff. Well, they'll get an honorable mention on the packing job for this. Alright, let me get it out and get the bubble wrap unwrapped from it. And you can see what's in the bottom, just a couple of layers of this stuff. And they had this stuff packed in the sides around this record player. And had a couple of layers of bubble wrap wrapped around the record player. Again, I would have done a little bit better job, but we also know these schoolroom record players are almost impossible to destroy. Well, the outside looks like it fared okay. And they had the tone arm secured to the rest, so at least they did that right. Okay, this one looks like it survived too. This is a Newcomb model AV7 classroom record player. This uses a couple of 50L6 tubes and push-pull and a 6AV6. Alright, there you go. These two survived, and it's good to, after all the destruction we've had, it's good to be able to post videos of things that actually made it in one piece. And as far as buying anything else in the future, I'm just going to have to get better at looking at the other items they have for sale and looking at their feedback. If I determine that they have a lot of experience in selling vintage electronics and they have good feedback for especially comments for good packing, then we'll go with them. Otherwise, I'm going to be very suspicious about fooling with them. And this is the inside of the Newcomb AV7, by the way.